Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this class on mental clarity, intuition, and logics. This is a gift I wanted to give to the community since many were interested in the Akashic Records initiations, and I wanted to bring some of the things that are of high value on discernment practices, and it's going to be of the biggest challenges, as John and Missy Butcher said, on this era, discernment. And most of the people who come to the teachings are usually struggling with discernment. And also their senses and the perception. Sometimes they get played tricks. Their own senses and their own minds play tricks on them. So I will be sharing some of the insights, frameworks, understandings for this to not work against you and have your mind clear and work for you. So why do we care about mental clarity? Sorry, I don't have the slides. I'm getting the computer fixed. So I highly recommend that this part of the praxis, taking notes. Taking notes because it's proactive learning, because you are more participant on it and you're just not passive. So that already for learning at the same time to not have the head loaded, it's nice to put it down on paper. That will already make space in you and you are going to be kind of more confident and relying on yourself, like you're helping yourself of the future by taking the notes in the present moment. So we start connecting all timelines and we are not having, let's say, anxiety for missing out information or regret for forgetting things. So within the present, we do the best possible to take notes and help ourselves. We are going to be more in peace. Make sense, this strategy? It's a different approach, but help yourself and yourself of the future with taking notes of all the insights that you can get in the present. Yeah. Why do we care about mental clarity? Well, the mental clarity will affect our attitude, our attitude towards the world. Because, first of all, the mental clarity affects our perception. Perception. It would be the input, right? What we perceive through the senses, through the persona. I will just play a lot with the etymology, so we start decoding words. Perception. What the persona captures, conceives. So the perception is what we allow to come in through the different senses. That will be the input. If we think in the conscious systemic model, we are a system, we have an input. So this attitude towards the world will bias how we see things. If we don't have clarity, we are going to see everything biased and distorted. And that information already is going to be processed differently. And then the decisions that we make are going to be mistaken because we are coming out from a base that is not good. And well, first of all, I want to also state that from where we are coming, if we have a hygiene practice on clarity, we are going to be able to trust this perception, to trust the processing that we are going through and the decisions we make from there. So it's not that we just have mental clarity. We make mental clarity through hygiene practices of our mind. So usually in the channeling practices, we study psychological biases that we can have. We study our own wounding and especially the subconscious, because the subconscious has much more power than any act of consciousness. Like anything that we can do consciously is 10%. The subconscious will be ruling always. It's like we cannot underestimate the subconscious. We can start bringing things from the subconscious to the conscious and gain territory, but all the work that we do on the subconscious, and that's why we work on the soul level, is going to be an inertia that we have to have on our side. So that's why self-knowledge of our processing system, of our perception, is going to be essential. As a fun story to be practical, this week, I'm like having on rehabilitation on the arm, right? It affects us, the physical body, like the decisions we make with the framework, it affects us, the physical body. So I was looking why my muscles here were so stressed. And I'm like training, doing yoga every day, eating well, going to hot springs, doing everything possible, you know, like what I should be doing. But it's something from somewhere else. It's metaphysical. Subconsciously, the body is receiving a message that configures the situation. To make it short, because we have, to make it short, I had an uncoupling with my couple, and then I said, okay, I will use all this energy to train more. Double training. My pec was stretched. Symbolically, it was heartbreak because it was the side of the heart. And then this did not fix for a while. So I had to work on the subconscious to figure out from where it was coming. I opened Akashic Records. That is an act of making conscious the subconscious, the subconscious things. And they told me this has to do with another life, where I was pushed by her, and then I fell, and I got injured, and then I could not lift myself up. And you start decoding the stories that subconsciously are playing and being broadcasted to the physical body. I healed that through the past life integration. Boom, this whole process started happening and manifesting differently because I understood it, I processed it differently, and then I could make the decisions in real life to go see if it was a muscle torn, get the physiotherapy, get good other things that I was not doing, because they were in a blind spot. So we are not just clearing the conscious, we are also having to clear the subconscious and the blind spots that are there, because they're going to be ruling us. Many people want to know everything when we are thinking mentally, but we have to dive into the metaphysical as well, because it's there at play, or playing us. We play with our subconscious, with these things of past life integration, or Akashic Records, or different kinds of channeling, or therapies, or it's going to be playing us, the narratives, the myths that are in the background. So the mental clarity not only includes our physical states, but also the stories that are playing us. That's why one of the main strategies I recommend is journaling, decluttering. That's part of the hygiene. Who here has a journaling practice? You can do it. Journaling, kind of. Okay. Well, I incentivize the journaling practices because it's and declutter. And also you can bring out things that you can read again and revise. So you start having a feedback loop that is the process of consciousness. In the initiation, I usually share about the definition of the code of consciousness. That is the act of learning from all the biofeedback that life is giving you. It's like an ongoing communication with the universe, so you can see yourself and learn and grow. Technically, that's by Nassim Haramein. When we were in Mind Valley with Nassim Haramein, that was the highest definition of consciousness scientifically we could get. Okay. Subconscious power, clearing the mind. Also for clearing the states. At the end, I'm going to guide a meditation, and the one who wants to have it is a 6-minute meditation for clearing the mind room, because many persons have entities and programs and things that they stay in their head and they are taking a toll, especially through screens, especially through social media. There's a lot of messaging, symbolism that goes through, and you know, the eyes are the gates to the soul. So we have to really take care of that. It's not only clearing, also it's guardianing and protecting, and gardening even when we do these meditation exercises. So those are ways to mental clarity. So we clear confusion. Like most people have lack of trust in themselves, lack of trust in their own mental process, because they do not know if they are them who are having those thoughts. Have you ever had that awareness of from where this thought is coming? You know, you cannot rely on your mind. Has that happened to you? Let me see here in the chat. If I'm not liking to write journaling, what else can I do? Okay. Meditations, or as the Greeks did, talking out loud. You have to do some crazy things to unfold the subconscious, some kind of crazy habit you will have to have. The people who talk out loud are there to listen themselves. That can be something you can just talk, or even if you want to break more the logical thinking and open up more the listening, you can just sing whatever comes through, and then you listen to the lyrics, and then you start doing this synapses between both hemispheres, the logical and the creative. So when you hear what you say, both hemispheres connect. So when you produce and at the same time you receive, both hemispheres make the spark, and then you have all the thing running. That's another strategy if you don't feel like writing. I would not recommend writing on a computer, on the cell phone. That's cuts the brain waves and the thoughts. It's not nice to journal in a computer. For me, there's people that are very agile and that's their main thing. But when you're drawing it, you are using both hemispheres because you are using the art drawing part as well. I usually draw in the draft and then pass it to the computer if it's something meaningful after revising. So you declutter the things that have to be decluttered, you select and capture the good things, and then you store for the memory to not be held, and you just are in peace. You can be in peace with, oh, this is saved and stored. And it was Michael that we were sharing that the Notion ticks, the Notion, the program, the app, that is very nice to have some sort of documentation of your creation. And that's a way of honoring all your creativity and production of your mind, and to access all over that again, an archive. Or the records the Akashic records are usually called archives because all the knowledge you need, it's there, and it brings you much more to the present, what you need to know now. But also I like my human experience to have it in a place. Okay, so far so good. I think that if you keep bringing questions, I will answer alongside. I also want to advance on the process on these concepts of the systemic consciousness, perception, processing, and decision-making, and the levels of truth and mental clarity. That will be the track we're on. Okay, and then once we can trust in our processing, in our perception, because that's built. Trust is earned. Have you heard the phrase? Trust is earned. Of course, you're going to be doubting yourself if you don't do something about to trust yourself. If you just let it random, it won't happen naturally that you trust yourself. You have to give your logical brain that keeps track on your wins and losses. You have to give it reasons to trust yourself. So that's why you start generating a backstory, you start generating a log of wins that you had to trust yourself. And the best way is through real outcomes, the good decisions that you have made. You can celebrate them. I also have a very good practice on the habit tracker of celebrating victories daily. So you can boost up the confidence and the confidence to trust yourself. So this mental clarity will affect the real outcomes we have in our life or the lack of results we have. So that's why it's so important to have mental clarity. And it will help in our behaviors. Our behaviors are going to be ruled by this. That's why I touch from the beginning the subconscious. That's why I suggest to work deeply in therapies like past life integrations, because they are playing us there. And they will pop up. These lives will pop up. And I will just share one more story on my own past life regressions. I was coming here back to Costa Rica, and I was about to take back after the divorce, to take all the things to ship it to my ex-wife. And when I was doing that, boom, disc hernia. Last year, disc hernia. There was no physical reason, again, for me to have disc hernia. I was swimming, training every day, yoga, eating well. No reason for me to have disc hernia. Doing planks, fortifying, everything that they tell you to do was there. The trigger of the trip and me picturing myself loading boxes to ship them to Germany. Back, disc hernia. I could not move. I could not, I had to crawl to move. My whole lower body was numbed. It was numbed. It was traumatized for weeks after because of the level of pain in the nerves. And I do a past life integration. And I went when I was have you ever done a past life regression or integration? Anyone?
No.
Oh, okay. It's amazing because we think we are making things up, but it's so truth, because it's there's nobody telling me what's happening. It comes up from the wisdom of your soul, and you just start experiencing that. So that's one of the levels of truth we are going to be working on. It's you just see it. It's undeniable. It's happening in front of your eyes. So I see suddenly a bear, and this bear is angry at me. And then I realize, when I expand the situation, I'm also a bear. And why I'm fighting, and you start making questions like, are we fighting for the land? And then I see there was a little cub, a bear cub. Oh, that's mama bear not allowing me to see my child. Same situation that in my life. When we were locked into the fight, engaged, stuck an arrow in the lower back. I could not walk. The natives took advantage from us fighting, and then, another thing started, but from there came the disc hernia. And all the situation of, if we kept engaged in a fight that was happening in a subtle level, that we were fighting and she was not allowing me to see my child, and that triggers, and it will rule anything beyond the conscious act. Does it make sense? So I worked on it, integrated, make peace, suspended the trip. It was another way to do it. And the harmony and the mental clarity and peace on what to do was not driven by that subconscious. So that changed the behavior, that changed my decision making because of having clear what subconscious patterns were working. Okay. So for improving perception, we worked, especially in the initiations on conscious channeling, we worked on extrasensorial perception. Anybody has heard of extrasensorial perception? Yes? No? No? Okay, extrasensorial perception is things that are away from the senses, that we are, it's not just only physical touch or taste. They're not the normal senses. Sometimes you just listen things. There's people that are clairaudient. Yes? Yes, Stephanie? Ah, okay. Extrasensorial perception that can be through hearing, can be through seeing things that are not there, like that are not there, but we see them, or things that we just know. That's part of the intuition. That's a part of the intuition we're going to be talking. So we have other expanded senses that we can be working on. And then the process of synthesis of those to make something of them. Whenever we are connected with subtle realms, we are going to receive messages in different ways. The gut feeling, the famous gut feeling, I just know. I just got this calling to do these things. Those things have to be on our side. When I started opening, when I had my awakening, many people are scared of these things because it can be crazy, you know, people listening voices or seeing things that are not there. That's people, when people are scared of this and doesn't know how to handle them, that's the problem. Many people open suddenly their senses doing mushroom ceremonies or psychedelics and things like that, and they don't have the capacity of processing all that. They think they are getting mental clarity, but they're just like having excess of input that, yeah, it's an expansion of consciousness for a moment, or to be more precise, it would be an expansion of awareness, not consciousness. They can see more things, but they cannot process them. That will be conscious learning and biofeedback that is more harmonic. So it's important to open the senses, but at the same time to have the resources to process them. And most people lose their minds and also open the gates. They are too open for entities. When I do the clearings, most people come from ceremonies, psychedelics, hundreds of entities they have. There are lost souls, patterns, things, problems of others that they absorb through that. So that's a good reason why people are scared of that. And that's why it's so important, the hygiene. We're going to be doing it in a moment. So that's the importance of the hygiene. And it has to be purposeful. There has to be an intent for clarity. All of this first part, I wanted to emphasize. I want to highlight the importance of hygiene and clarity, clearing our mind. What we can do: meditation, journaling, speaking out loud, decluttering. Personally, as a super habit, as an atomic habit, if you have read the book Atomic Habits, I stack it up all with the Akashic openings, because I make a space of really listening. I make the sacred framework of, okay, I will receive everything that is important. I will journal. I will don't lose my consciousness. I am there, accompanied with this higher consciousness, decluttering and getting something useful for the day. So I do that super habit to keep my mind hygiene. Also meditation and some other hacks to clear perception. Hydration. Most people are dehydrated. Remember, our mind is in our body. Hydration. Breathing. Breathing is like, if you do it consciously, who has done here wild feet? Wild feet, someone? No? Okay. They teach us this state management, otherwise the body will not let go of extra weight, because it's not relaxed, it's stress. And with the breathing, we activate the parasympathetic, the vagus nerve and the system that helps us relax. So the body gets a signal that is all okay and it can relax, that it doesn't have to be in these shortened loops of fight and flight. So breath work will help a lot to floss the nerves. Make sense? Let me, there. Give me a moment. There we go. So flossing the nerves through breath work, through being hydrated, and minerals. Otherwise, we are going to have biology fighting against us. It's not just a mental process. The mind is in the body. Okay. And the self-awareness of what's our state is going to be important. And always, if there's a possibility, boom, hydration. I will take a mate right now to honor that, but technically the mate dehydrates you. So like, I just want to highlight that whenever you take mate or coffee, then you have to take one of water. And self-knowledge. When we work on perception, self-knowledge. In our lineage of Akashic records, this is key, because if we do not know what is our wounding, what is our biases, what is our personality like, the things that come through, we are going to have them in a blind spot, because we just think we are seeing things as they are, but we see things as we are. So that's why the process of self-knowledge is so, so important, because we are going to be more aware of from where we are watching, observing things. So not biased by our wounding, by our life stories and experiences. So we hone very well who we are, so we are not biased in that sense. There we go. Perfect. Self-knowledge, biases, once perfect. Dangers in perceptions. The biggest danger here is not caring. The ego, the subconscious, will make you not care, will make you forget about this. That's why I made you take notes, because if you're not taking notes now, it won't already beforehand. You are being driven by the ego, and it's like a main resistance is making you distracted or uninterested in this. This is of the deepest things you can have, because you are all the time using your mind. You cannot turn it off. And it's neurotic trying to turn off the mind. And also something that we're going to be working on is neurotic, the new age thinking that of not judging. It's neurotic judging judgment. Judgment is bad. I don't judge. That's neurotic. That's a lie. Your mind is a natural process that has to happen to organize things and make a place in your world. To label, to organize, to categorize, you need judgment. So it's discernment. Technically, when we cannot discern or judge something, if it's good or bad for us, that's when we get blurry lines, and that generates mental fog and loss of clarity. Make sense? And if it triggered you up some program like judgment, are you telling me that judgment is good? Yes. If you having judgment against you, like it's neurotic, judging judgment. You see that you are judging judgment if you think that judgment is bad. So it's better to have all these devices that are naturally there for some reason to work for us. That's more harmonious. It's like, let's do it. So caring, not revising and accepting these automatic thoughts or giving them for granted, like giving for granted that we are clear, that we are having a clear judgment, or that is us that is making the thinking, that's a big problem. That's another ego trap that we're just giving for granted. So it's as well, there's no need to work on our clarity. There's no need to care even, because let's keep with inertia. That's another of the dangers. Not caring, giving it for granted, and thinking that it's normal to have things working against you. That will affect a lot the perception. We'll think that the world is a bad place, the mind is bad, that it will give us automatic negative thoughts about us, because we don't understand why we are failing in some things, where we put trust wherever it was not. So it's a downward fall if we lose from the start. So care, please care about your mental clarity, take care of it. And yeah, the other thing that happens is overloaded extrasensorial perception, that when we have too much information, like too much information from social media, it already overloads the mind and we cannot process so much. So reducing that amount, or conversations. In US, I see when I work with the clients in New York or this LA, very fast mind thing, they are full of information that they don't take time to process. Time to take a power nap, something like that, to clear would be nice. Meditation, walks that you just simplify. Look for simplicity, and it will help the bandwidth we have to process. Okay, I will check the questions in a moment because I have to turn the thing. So I finish with the delivery. So that's on the perception part, clearing from the beginning. If the perception is biased or working against us, we lost the fight from the beginning. So take care of your mental hygiene and how we are perceiving things. Processing. Why I started making the gap with the judgment and discernment, because it's not we are judging things outside. We have a meaning-creating machine inside of us. There's a device of our mind that creates meaning and looks for meaning of things to organize it in the repertoire of our mind. So we make a database of where we are standing. We can map where we are. So sometimes this meaning-creating machine processes things as the same loops, and shortens. Whenever we don't have much bandwidth, it makes shorter the judgment, because it saves energy. Remember, the brain wants to save the most energy possible. So that's why it makes fast judgments that is simple for us. Oh, this person is bad. Oh, and you don't see the overall. And we do fast judgments because the brain wants to save energy. So whenever we can expand the loops of processing and the meaning-creating machine, that's wonderful. That's why in the Akashic Records, I ask more. And what about this? Why are you bringing this up? Why I'm thinking of that? In the Lifebook process, when we work on our beliefs, that's a very deep part of it. And if we can do that daily, imagine the expansion, it's like, what belief is ruling me now? Because there's always a process going. And the meaning-creating machine also, we cannot turn it off. So it has to be working for us. Judging, we talk about, is organizing, labeling, to make it simple. The stories, the mythology, and the narratives, we are all the time in a story. Our soul is in a story. This one, beside my ex-girlfriend, another life opened up, and this had to do with attachments. I feel I took out a piece of my soul from the underworld. And I knew it because I feel it, and you feel it in your energy. In fact, the Greeks, had the word psyche, from where psychology comes. Psyche does not mean mind. It was mind and soul. It was not something different. Psyche, the goddess Psyche, was the only one who Narciso was in love with. Narciso was in love with Psyche, if you listen to the Greek mythology, and we are being played by this Greek mythology up to today. So, and who was the one who, the only one who Narcissus could heal? Okay, like, who could heal Narcissus? Echo. I love mythology because this is giving us so much cues. That's why listening to ourselves will get us out of our shell. When we have this biofeedback, when we have consciousness, something reflecting us back will get us out of our own self. And we can be expand, we can break the shell, the Plato's cave, the Mayavic shells of the Buddhism, the illusion of our own self. There's many analogies of this. And that now with this, we will bring the concepts of truth, because we need it to process. It's not only that we are perceiving, we perceive as we are, okay. But then how we process, how we can discern truth. So in the article I did in the community, I talk about this translation from the Greek. It's even from the Greek, because when Jesus said that phrase, it was in Aramaic, because he was mainly speaking in Aramaic, but also he talked ancient Greek at that point. And he had people talking in Roman and Latin. So there was a lot of mistranslation. And then imagine from Latin, how they translated in English. So it was a lot of mistranslation from there. Let me close here, because the birds of Costa Rica are crazy. Okay, I love this environment. Yeah, guys, go catch the birds that are interrupting a little bit. Okay, and water. Please take water if you need it, if you can, if you have it close by, because this is a very important notion that we have to integrate. Water, hydration will give us energy, will lubricate the circuits inside of us. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Have you heard that? Well, that's false. You can know the truth about many things and you're not getting free. So if you just pass through a basic logical tables, the tables of truth, that's false. So the mistranslation makes it false. Knowing the truth does not make you free. There's a lot of things that, like, you awaken to, and even they can become your wardens, your jail keepers. They can keep you in jail because now you're paranoid about knowing what's truth. And you can see a lot of conspiracy people getting paranoid because of the things they know, and they get more enslaved because of the things they know. Does it make sense? So it's not truth at all. You can like do any antithesis of that, and it's totally false. So what did he really mean there? He said you will know the aletheia, and the emunah will set you free. Those are two different types of truth. The aletheia means
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying right now. Can you just, so do you know where that originated? That originated in the Bible, right? And it was Jesus who said that, right?
Correct.
And I just looked up the scripture. It says, so Jesus said, this is in John 8:31-32.
Yes.
He said, so Jesus said to the Jews who had believed him, if you abide in my word, he says, if you abide in my word. Now there is a stipulation here. If you abide in my word, if you abide in scripture, that's his word, scripture, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. He's not saying go out in the world and learn the truth about this or that or somebody else or whatever, and that will set you free. No, he's saying he's the one who originated this saying, okay? And he's saying, if you abide in my word, if you study the Bible and you get to know me and you get to know my teachings, that you will be, the truth will be revealed to you, and that will set you free. He's not saying, go talk to your neighbor Joe and find out what happened last night in the neighborhood, and that will set you free. No, it's specific in relationship to God himself, and I believe Jesus is God because I'm a born again Christian.
Okay. Let's make
That
something.
that is the originator of that. If you're going to quote scripture, you need to put it in context.
Yeah, I will put it even in bigger context. There was no scripture when Jesus was talking, so that was put in there by the clerics.
The word he's talking about is the words that he's teaching, because all that he taught ended up becoming scripture. The words he was talking specifically to his disciples, which were 12 men, many of whom wrote the scripture based on his teachings, which was his words.
Okay, let's simplify at this moment, because I want to give it even a framework so we understand what was mistranslated and what are the patterns that make the confusion in between. Remember, Thomas was the only one who was going after the talks of Jesus and scribed. And a lot of these are the testimonies of people. Anyway, if we just get to the essence of this, so we don't complicate and get lost in translations and interpretations.
No, it's important because you're talking about truth here. So if you're going to talk about truth, you have to put it into the context in which it was actually said. And so this is truth.
Okay.
Thomas was the one who took notes during the time at which it was happening. He was like a journalist in a sense. He was he was writing things down, but the others wrote from their memory and from what actually in their personal experiences.
Yeah, the highest way of truth is simple. It's something that if we overcomplicate, we are getting a lesser level of truth. So let's keep it simple, because I want to get into a higher level of truth. So learn this concept. Because this is to enlighten on even before, it's about the power of certain words. And then you can, with this, check into any story that has been told about Jesus, or any story that was in between has been told. You can decode and have a framework to perceive better. We don't have any possibility of checking what actually happened there. Do you see that? That's true. Anything that is written about 2,000 years ago, we don't have way to prove it.
It's actually been proven. It's actually been proven by scholars. So if you, I know you've been.
That's not scholars. That's outsourcing your processing that you cannot. That's not the real science, that you cannot test it by yourself.
No, but no, I want, if we're going to be talking truth here, let's talk about.
There will be no, hey, excuse me, I'm Jewish, and I studied some Greek and some Hebrew, so I know where he's going with the translation. So I think we want to hear what he has to say, and we will never get anywhere because we all have different systems of
I understand what you're saying. It's just that
so I think we should move on.
I want to hear what he has to say, but at the same time,
good. Yeah, let's do that then.
But let's not take
Ramona, we'll never get anywhere because this is so intense. It's your truth.
Yeah, into a smaller talk, because that's the Tower of Babel. What you think, and it's like, let's put something in the center, so it's objective, and anybody can take it as they want. But disrupting because of the lesser discussion doesn't help, because it's trying to protect their own belief. So it's like that's what gets us into a lower level. Let's higher the understanding on words that is more powerful than stories, because stories.
Can you explain Akashic? Because I don't really fully understand that.
Of course. Let me keep going with the flows for the respect of everybody. Okay, the respect of everybody for the flow of what I prepared today and the time of everybody here. That's basic. Let's do that. So the main what is main translated over there, as I learned it from my teacher, that was very insightful, was the concepts of you will learn, you will know the aletheia, and the munah will set you free. And the aletheia refers to what we know now, the truth of your ego. Is this shell, like the truth as you perceive it. This is my aletheia. This is truth for me.
No, there's only one.
Okay, you will know the truth of your ego, your what you perceive. Okay, and the truth you emanate will set you free. That's very different, right? You will know what's your perception. You will know the truth of your ego, and the truth you emanate will set you free. So that's already bringing us something that others can see. What are you emanating is more objective, because people also can connect with other things, that like the things that you emanate, how you behave. They can see the integrity on your actions of your emanation, and in those deeds you will get free. It's very different, right, the concept. And there's also the truths. They have the truths that the lawyers, the judges are looking for, and in all these documents of lawyers, they will talk about the veritas. Have you heard about veritas? From the Latin. And that's the level of truth that we talk in the Akashic records. We are looking for the highest truth that we all can see and recognize. The truth that connects us in a higher level is the veritas, that is like, okay, this is so essential that we can all recognize that's truth for all. But we have these different levels and degrees of truth that we have to acknowledge. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of discussing in different levels of truth without discernment of, okay, I'm trying to protect the truth of my ego, of my shell. You can see that if there's something that you emanate different from what you believe, or if it's connected with a higher level of truth. So we are constantly trying to come into integrity, different levels of truth. And whenever we, for example, this story of the past life regression, that is true for me. It was crazy. I was sharing the story of how I experienced this life, and the King Solomon appeared and gave me a cetrum, like a staff of power, and I was guardianing it from some entities. And I do not know if that happened, but the mythology helped me realize the lesson. And that essential lesson, that essential moral, is the veritas that helped me heal what I was having here, that was taking my soul to the underworld, because I got attached into this responsibility of taking care of what has been given to me, that I died protecting it, and my soul was still holding on to it. I was attached to this responsibility, this power, and it kept me down. It kept me down until I let go. I could let go, and my soul was free. That's like, this happened this week, and it keeps happening, and that's how we can liberate. Don't know if it happened, if I was in the times, or my soul was in the times of King Solomon, but the effect that truth had in my real life is totally true for me. So you see, these different levels of truth can affect our behavior, heal us, liberate us. So last part on the decision making. So decision making, I'm talking about the word from where comes decision, is incision. I think also John and Missy said it about incision. You have to make some cuts. So we have to have sharp judgment. So whenever we can do clean cuts is whenever we have sharp judgment or wise discernment. So we can make better decisions that are more time efficient and we can see the effect better. So decision making is enacted judgment. We act out in this life how we make decisions, and here's mate. We can at the same time improve and craft our life. As an artist of life, I love to have sharpened my tools to craft my life. That's the beauty of it. Whenever you have all these tools that we talked, we can sculpt better our life. So let me go a little bit to these questions written here, and I will give you the meditation that I want you to give you that is going to be nice. Awareness, yeah, how do you see the difference? Awareness of consciousness. Awareness is more like a picture, like a spectrum that you can capture, and consciousness is more a dynamic phenomena that comes and goes, is more alive. Awareness is that you can see, and consciousness is that you interact. We talked a lot in the lineage and the initiations about that. What kinds of minerals should I take, and how can I determine which ones for the blood work? Okay, what has been very useful in the machine studies for being well nourished, sometimes we can take minerals. I have right now a client that is taking a lot of supplements and minerals and stuff, but they are not absorbing them because their organs, their guts are clotted, and they do not absorb it. So it's counterproductive to be taking it. What has helped me a lot was these quantum cards. These quantum cards that has a coil with microminerals, so the resonance of the minerals can stay with you. Because as well, it's energetic what we take or not. If our body is broadcasting of, I don't receive these minerals, we will not receive it. And at the same time, now that I brought this, why I use it is because we will lose a lot of mental clarity if we have, for example, electromagnetic frequencies cutting off our brain waves. That's a lot of mental clarity being lost. If we don't discharge the excess of electromagnetism that comes from the cell phones, from the computers, from the Wi-Fi routers, from the cell towers, that is going to make our brainwaves cut and interrupted, and that takes away our mental clarity. So these quantum cards has been the best for absorbing minerals, for quality of sleep, and the energy dynamics. I got stronger. I realized I didn't have strength to do pull-ups like this, and now with the quantum card I can do it. So this year has been my best physical shape because of that. And the blood work I do as well with electromagnetic nodes that you can scan, and all the information of your body comes up in a template, and you can see how's your memory, your mental performance, your minerals, your enzymes, and all that stuff. So that's why I got into the physical part. So we are not all metaphysical, channeling Akashic records. We are also taking care of our body, the antenna we operate from. Let me see the last two questions. And okay, there's good reflections. I love it. I'm not sure if I fully understand Akashic. It's an Hindu philosophy. Yes, Akashic is referred. Akashic is referred to the ethers. The ethers from the Greek. Also is known as prana. Also is known as chi. It's universal energy. Also is called as the fifth element. So it's the most subtle element, the plasma, the ether, the chi, that when we tap into it, we can even understand the language of light. That's what we do in conscious channeling. So it's an element that we also have to consider. In the alchemy, it's the fifth element. The reason I talk because Jesus, person, okay, yes, this is theosophical. That's good. The levels of truth we explained on the aletheia, emunah. Thank you for the information. Thank you so much. Here we can get those cards. You can message me. I deliver it, or I can send you the page. That if wherever you are, they deliver in most countries. Of these quantum cards are the best things for having them on you, or even to improve the sleep. And how do you specifically work with people individually? Individually, I do different things. First, I do an interview to see how I can help, because as honorability codes, we have to see if it corresponds, if for the highest good. It's not that I just want to help. Sometimes I need to be the person, and it has to be the time to help. I worked with Akashic Records openings and readings that come through. I worked with past life integrations in case that's needed. There's something happening that is very clear. There's some symptom expressing or some issue that is keeping us blocked. Usually it's with past life related and the subconscious playing against us. So we integrate that piece and recuperate the energy of the soul. And also with cellular memory reprogramming, it's part of changing and reprogramming patterns that are there. And that comes from the same message of the body that wants to upgrade, wants us to give us a color to be painted. And the philosophy of Artists of Life is like painting us as a mandala. So our life is more nourished in colors. What's the process like? The process like is, first, we check on the name. The name, it has a lot of power, your name. So you send your name, I open records, check what comes, if it's correspondent for the highest good of all, to do the opening. And then I send the guidelines of preparation for the session, and we get ready, for example, making questions that you have a process of thinking through what you want to know when you open the sacred space. And then in the sessions, everything comes through like an inbox message. Sometimes come pictures, sometimes comes poems, sometimes comes written things, or music, or tools, or movies, books. Like all the resources that come through are for helping and supporting you in your current process. That's part of the Akashic opening. And in the past life integrations, we see an issue that you just know about it. If you have a physical sensation, it's better. And then that's the thread, that's the tip of the thread. And then we discover, we unravel what's about to go to the source of it and integrate that calling of the soul that wants to come back to you. Okay, are we ready for the meditation? It's going to be 5 minutes to clear our minds and to get us out of here way better. Okay, I will just turn off the camera so you don't get distracted by me. You're safe, you're not being watched by anybody. Or even if you want to turn off the camera as well, you can feel safe. And okay, we just take a deep breath. Scan your body if there's any tension. You can scan your body alongside your breath, like flossing and giving on command to relax, to let go of any tension, any stress. Last breath. And we can place our awareness behind our eyes. Place your awareness behind of your eyes, in the center of your head. And here in the center of your head, we will find ourselves in the room of our mind. Scan the room with curiosity, look around. How's the order? If there's any furniture. Scan your mind's room. And now, as you're looking around, you will summon a light blue energy ball in your left hand. This light blue energy ball will bring clarity, will reveal truthfully, and show everything that you pointed towards. So play around with the light blue energy ball. Look around if there's any darker area and bring light to it. As it reveals, you see how it stays enlightened with this gentle, truthful energy. And now you will summon a golden energy ball in your right hand. This golden, pure gold energy is for harmony and for divine order. So by the touch of this light, everything is led to its place. So feel how the natural harmony, if there's furniture, if there's books, anything goes into their proper and best place. And if is there something extra that is not needed anymore, that is just taking space, you can see how this golden energy also can burn it as a fire and return its energy to the universe. So that energy is liberated, there's more harmony in your mind's room. You can always access the mind room with these two new tools you have, the light blue and the golden bubble, the golden energy balls. And now you will place yourself in the center of the room and you will call and tell everyone, every entity, anyone that may be in your room to come forward. And everyone has to answer because you are sovereign and the ruler of your mind's room. Any person or entity, being, has to come forward. They respond on your command. And as you see them coming forth, you thank them for their curiosity, thank them for their interest to see and pick on your mind. But this is your sacred space of mind, and it's for you to be here in your solitude and peace. So you will demand them to go, you will escort them gently out of the room of your mind. See them, how they start leaving. You can escort them and wait at the door as they all leave. And when this is finished, the last one left, you can close the door. And feel the solitude and the peace of mind of being in your mind's room. Enjoy the solitude and peace. of mind. You can take 3 deep breaths and transmit this feeling to your body. Spread it, this actualization, to your body, and come back to the present as you're ready. Okay. This meditation, if you want to receive it, is 6 minutes usually. I have it in WhatsApp or Telegram. So message me or email me. I will leave the details here in the description or in the event. Okay. I went over the time. I want to be respectful of your time. So I will close here, and we are connected with the chat of the application, and yeah, we can talk over there. Enjoy your mental clarity. It's really clearing. Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. I can share this meditation. I give it to all the students. So thank you for enjoying it, and enjoy this peace of mind. It's going to help you a lot. Blessings until next time.